two nuclear-capable B-52 bombers have taken off from a base in the UK for a night mission across Europe. Europe is inching closer to World War III hour by hour as world leaders are holding a series of talks with their counterparts. The British Armed Forces Minister James Heappey fears we are closer than we've been on this continent since the start of the Cold War in 1947. The B-52 bombers took off from an RAF base in the UK on Sunday evening and flew down the western coast of France, then flew to the Mediterranean heading towards the Middle East. The two nuclear-capable bombers were visibly seen on publicly available flight radar data and were operating under the call signs of Chief 11 and Chief 12. Last week, the Russian President Vladimir Putin gave a chilling warning that if he does not get his own way, there could be a nuclear war in Europe. Putin said that talks with his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron were constructive and told a press conference that there will be a nuclear war if Ukraine joins NATO. The Russian president said, "I want to stress it one more time. I've been saying it, but I'd very much want you to finally hear me, and to deliver it to your audience in print, TV and online. Do you understand it or not, that if Ukraine joins NATO and attempts to bring Crimea back by military means, the European countries will be automatically pulled into a war conflict with Russia?" The British Armed Forces Minister told Sky News on Monday, "We've seen now that there's 130,000 combat troops around Ukraine's land borders. There's thousands more on amphibious shipping in the Black Sea. Russia has concentrated artillery missile systems and combat air in the area." And, perhaps more ominously, although it grabs less headlines, all of the combat enablers, the logistics, the fuel, the medical supplies, the bridging assets, are all also now in place. The B-52 bombers still carry nuclear weapons and nuclear cruise missiles, and according to the U.S. military sources, movement of the aircraft will be for pilots to train in the European theater and airspace, which will form part of the wider Bomber Task Force group in Eastern Europe. The B-52H is the U.S. Air Force's USAF long-range, large payload multi-role bomber, and also known as the Stratofortress or the Buff, Big Ugly Fat Fellow. The B-52 is a long-range strategic bomber and can carry out precise nuclear-guided conventional weapons globally with precise navigation capability. The B-52, the Stratofortress, has a payload of 70,000 pounds and can carry nuclear weapons, which includes 12 AGM-129 advanced cruise missiles of ACMS, 20 AGM-86A air-launched cruise missiles. The U.S. Air Force General Jeffrey Harrigan, the commander of the U.S. Air Forces in Europe and Air Forces Africa, said he was very comfortable that we can operate with their joint terminal air controllers, their entities on the ground, from the Baltics down into the Med and even into Romania. He pointing out the continued interaction with them that has allowed us to keep our close air support capabilities at the right level and continue to improve our readiness. 2 plane loads of the U.S. military assistance arrived in Kiev Sunday to boost Ukraine's defenses. Officials say the shipment includes ammunition and shoulder-fired grenade launchers. Ukraine needs the necessary military weapons to defend itself, said Andrew Futy, president of the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America. The U.S. and NATO allies are continuing to step in to help. President Biden's national security advisor Jake Sullivan warned Sunday on CNN that a Russian invasion of Ukraine could happen any day now. We are prepared to continue to work on diplomacy, he said. But we are also prepared to respond in a united and decisive way with our allies and partners should Russia proceed. Sullivan's comments come a day after President Biden warned Russian President Vladimir Putin of swift and severe costs if he orders an invasion. And while Sullivan says it's hard to predict the day, he adds there has been an acceleration of Russian troop buildup. The way they have built up their forces makes it a distinct possibility that there will be major military action very soon. Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby pointed to Russia's continued buildup of forces along the Ukraine border. That number is now roughly 130,000. We have good sources of intelligence and they're telling us that things are sort of building now to some kind of crescendo opportunity for Mr. Putin. President Biden has repeatedly warned American citizens in Ukraine to leave before it's potentially too late. The airports are still open. The railroads are still running. The highways are still open, Kirby continued. There are plenty of opportunities for Americans to leave and they should take these warnings and advisories very seriously.